Wave this morning on 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven? What? I am so tired. Hello, and welcome everyone. A little tired this morning. Obviously, instead of saying 7 a.m., the name of my show, I said 7-Eleven. That's right. That's what I said. I said that. And I shouldn't be tired because went to bed with enough time, but I feel a little tired this morning. And but we're gonna carry on because the show must go on, right? Got my coffee, and I'm excited to be here as always. My eyes are a little bit shot. I did sleep even a little bit more, so I think I almost just got up. But that's the way it works, you know. This is a behind the scenes look at what goes on in the world of this craziness that I do here. So good morning, everyone. It is 7 a.m. My name is John Henry Soto. It is June 2nd, 2021. And today we're going to be talking about the aesthetic wave. This is part two. I did this, started yesterday. I did the first six that I was going to go over, and I have six more that I'm going to go over. I'll give a quick review of the first six so you know what we're talking about, and then carry on to the final six. Now, um, one of the uh, reasons why I wanted to talk about this was because there is a certain energy that an artist puts out that is not the same as anyone else, and we always wonder like, what is that feeling? What is that sense of some type of creativity that influences others, right? Whether it's a piece of music or a film or a piece of comedy, stand-up comedians, which I love stand-up comedians. What is it exactly? A good book, a beautiful dance. There's something there, and it's an aesthetic wave. It's a vibration of something. It's a positivity. It's a spirituality. It's a connection to everything else, and it's an inspiration, something that someone else can feel and feel inspired by, right? So I wanted to kind of like break down a little bit about what these things were. And yesterday we talked about these first six, which was I'll go over them quickly. Be grateful, grateful for what you have an attitude of gratitude for everything in your life. Number two is be loving, compassionate, and kind. Um, I'm sorry, I'll give you that again because I'm going over the wrong ones. Again, I gotta apologize. I'm a little bit tired today. I don't physically feel tired, but I think mentally I feel tired. All right. Number one is positive thoughts. Attract more positive energy to you, right? Think positively. Number two is surround yourself with not only positive people, right, but positive objects, things that you love that are in your environment, like guitars and things that you love, coffee, right? Number three is align with the energy of love, not fear or doubt or worry, right? Because fear, doubt, worry, they don't really accomplish anything except to give you fear, doubt, and worry, right? They don't resolve anything. Nobody goes around saying like, I had this really big problem, but I had a lot of fear and doubt and worry, and I was able to get through it and succeed. That doesn't really happen, right? Number four is imagine and feel into your future self, right? So, people talk about visualization, right? So, visualize yourself where you want to be. And I gave an example yesterday on closing your eyes and kind of seeing yourself do the things that you want to do and be where you want to be, right? And I'm currently doing that a lot these days, working on some things that we're working towards. Number five is be grateful, have a grateful attitude in your life, which is what I started with today. um, Extreme great gratitude for everything, for everything. And number six, be loving, compassionate, and kind. It costs nothing to be those three things, um, and it goes a long way with attracting the things that you want in your life. All right, so now we're going to start with the next. I believe the next six, right? All right, so number 7 is live an inspired life. So do what makes you come alive, the things that feed your soul. The more you do what inspires you, the closer you'll be living to the life that you want to live, right? And to the close getting reaching more to your dreams. When you're inspired and loving and you're doing the things that you love, you vibrate at a really high level, right? And that's the aesthetic wave, right? um and when you feel inspired, when you're doing things that really feed your soul, like if I'm playing a piece of music or if I'm doing something, I feel more alive. I feel more powerful in being able to reach for the things that I want when I'm doing those things that really feeds my soul. Okay. um Number 8 in this list is be present. Live in your power. So be present is a very, very specific thing, right? It's, present time is now, right? It's the moment of now, and then it's the moment of then. When I first said that, that's back then, right? When I first started this show, that was back then. When I first talked about starting this show, that was back then, right? Now it's the moment, and it's every successive moment coming forward. Be in that moment, right? It's very difficult, right? Because a lot of times we're thinking about, oh, I remember what happened in the past, or this person reminds me of that, or I'm thinking of this, or I want that up there, but I can't because maybe it's something that happened in the past. So you're constantly going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, whether you're in the present or in the past, right? Um, so staying in the present is really the key factor, right? Stay in the present. Number 9 is do things that bring you joy. Now a lot of this one sounds a little bit like number 7, right? Live an inspired life, right? Do what makes you come alive and feed your soul. But this one's a little bit different because it's talking about the other things that bring you joy, not necessarily those big inspiring things. Like for me, is having a nice cup of coffee and having this moment in here on this show, actually, to kind of indulge a little bit in my thoughts and in my life, and to communicate with an audience, to express myself, to gather up my thoughts and prepare them for the upcoming adventures that I'm going to have. And that to me is what brings joy to me, right? These things, spending time with my kids, playing with them, but not parenting them, just sitting down and just watching them and just enjoying my son telling me stories, and my daughter telling me about our future trips that we're going to take, and the things that she wants to do, and the things she's interested in, and having those kind of things, right? Those are the things that bring joy to my life, whether they're small, like a cup of coffee, or something big, that's something with talking to my wife or my kids. And you should do this at least a couple of times a day, really, but at least, definitely, at least once a week, right? um the next one is do everything in a high vibrational state of mind. So look for the positive aspect in every situation, right? Which sometimes it's not easy to do, but if you find a way to enjoy what you're doing, right? And you stack up, a positive activity like a podcast or music to it. So you have to look at your life when you're doing things, you know, and like what I was saying, talking about present time and doing all these. Try to focus on being at a high vibrational state of mind. So when you're actually doing them, you're really enjoying them, and you're not just trying to push yourself to enjoy them. It's a very, very fine line. It's a very tricky place to be, but you have to break down your own emotional baggage for a second, right? And think about why you're doing these things. Are you doing them because you really like to do them, or are you doing them because you feel you should do them? Or but even all those thoughts going through your mind of why you're doing it and why you're trying to reach this thing, and am I living my best life ever? All those things are pulling you away from the actual enjoyment, right? Because you're putting thoughts into the idea of the things that I have to do. So it's sort of like saying rise up to the occasion of what it actually is to be doing those things. Be in a high vibrational state of mind where you are actually in that moment enjoying it for what it is, and not because you feel you need to do it, or the doctor said get some more, get some mental relaxation, go out for a walk. And not because anyone else is doing it, but because you generally want to operate on a higher level. And so focus on that. Do everything you can to be in that state where you're like really okay, I'm really enjoying this. It's not I have to enjoy this, right? The next one I talk a lot about is exercise and eat healthy. I think that that's part of when your body is not operating at optimum, your mind it's very difficult for your mind to operate that way too, right? Because your mind is inside this shell of a body. And you know if you believe in mind, body, spirit, like I do, they're all operating in one area, right? So spiritually, for you to be strong spiritually, you got to be inside of a shell that's moving correctly, and that has enough oxygen in its lungs, and it's getting enough nourishment, and it's getting vitamins, and it's the blood is circulating, and you're able to move the body around to the areas that you want to actually be and things that you want to do. You want to also have the mental ability to think about the things that you want to do. And if you're eating fast food, and if you're drinking soda, diet soda, which is even worse, if you're doing all these things consistently every single day, you're really your brain function is weakening. Now, I'm not a doctor, but this is science. You can actually research all these things on your own. Make sure you go to someone. You can go to Dr. Mercola. You can go to even Dr. Oz. I mean, go to any famous doctor that you believe in, or go to your own doctor. If your doctor tells you, yeah, don't worry about exercise and health, just take these pills, you got to get yourself another doctor, because that doctor is cuckoo. But yeah, exercise and eat as healthy as possible. Nobody's saying, eat kale for breakfast. But at least try to cut down on things, so like if you're eating fast foods all the time, start cutting down the fast food. I mean, you have to wonder how much nutritional value a sandwich has if it's $1 and they're selling millions of them, right? Why are they selling millions of them? Because of the convenience for people. People tend to People say, well, somebody's eating them, right? Because they're selling a lot of burgers. Well, yeah, you're right. A lot of people are eating them. Usually, a lot of the same people. um, but they're also $1, and economics sometimes rule, right? People don't realize that what they're doing to their body is it's going to be more economically expensive for them in the future. They're going to lose a lot of money because they're going to lose a lot of time at work. They're going to lose a lot of production opportunities. They're going to lose a lot of mental energy in order to create things and to be able to to think of new things and to develop things and to come up with ideas. They're going to lose a tremendous amount of economics in the future, as well as just production, which leads to economics, right? So there's a lot of factors that come into play when you're talking about eating well and nutrition, and all these things that I mentioned earlier, right? The last one on this list is connect to something bigger than yourself. So this is where you can where religion comes into play, where philosophy comes into play, where spirituality comes into play, where some people do meditation, some people do prayers. Just another thing that's bigger than yourself. You know what I mean? It's instead of um you know whatever it is that actually feeds your soul and makes you feel good, and gives you that strength, and it's bigger than you, and it's bigger than anything. It could be a faith, right? It can be a certainty of something that you know to be true. It can be a spirituality. Just people, some people say I'm not religious because I don't like organized religion. And other people say, yeah, I'm spiritual. I'm just spiritual. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual, right? Well, what does that mean? What does that Where does that get you, right? You have to Is that something that you can hold on to? Just that idea, right? How far is that going to get you before you start asking questions about, well, what's going to happen when I die? What is spirituality? What is this bigger thing that we're doing here? Why are we doing all this, right? What is the purpose of all this stuff, right? So find something that is bigger than yourself, right? And it could be, like I said, a connection to God. And get a specific time, each day, or at least a few times a week, where you check into that big thing and you get yourself aligned. Where there, if it's a course, if it's I do a lot of courses for my religion, right? And we do courses now because, obviously, because of the pandemic, we're doing them at home, and we're sending in our lessons to the church, and we have supervisors that will guide us and help us with our responses based on the material that we already read, that's already written, and seeing if we duplicate it, right? Because it's duplication is the most important thing, that you fully understand what it is that you're reading and that you can fully apply it to your life, right? So that's what I do. I do that every week consistently. So does my wife, and that's our connection to something bigger than us, right? And that helps us make those decisions. Actually, all these things help you in making decisions that are better for you and that are on the path where you want to be. So if you have an idea of, I want to get a better job, right? Well, everyone wants to make more money, right? And they want to get a better job or a better opportunity. Well, what are you doing to get to that? Have you documented in the book? Have you written down, I want to do this? Okay, great. Now we have to reverse engineer that, right? Come back and look, what do I need to get that? Okay, I'm gonna need this, write it down. I'm gonna need this, write it down. I'm gonna need this, write it down. As soon as you get it all down on paper, then you can go back and you go, okay, number one, I'm gonna work on this week. I'm gonna try to figure this out. Maybe it could be just an educational thing, which for me tends to be a lot of that, right? Just going online and researching something and figuring it out and then applying it, right? Especially if I want to do something like this podcast, like this show, I wanted to figure out, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to work this podcast? What do I need for it? Okay, I need a good microphone. All right, let me research microphones. I need a good camera. Okay, how am I going to, I need a lighting system. Okay, how am I going to get a okay, let me set up a lighting system. Now, some of these things I had, not the microphone. I had the lights because of some film stuff that I do. But I didn't have anything else, so I had to research. And I wrote all that stuff down. I still have it, not in this book because I filled up the other book I had, but I had it in that book of all the things I needed to start my video show last year and to continue moving forward. And that was just education. I found this website called StreamYard. I use StreamYard. I connected them to Facebook. How do I do that? I had to learn. I wrote it down. I got to learn how to do this. And I just went step by step by step by step by step, how to make merchandise for one of our shows that we did, how to create an account for that, how to create a domain name, all this stuff for me had to be educational, but I organized it. I organized it. I wrote it down and I went piece by piece. And the reason I can do these things was because I had that bigger thing that I was looking at. I had something that's bigger than me. And I look at it extremely carefully and on a daily basis on what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I'm working on, what my goals are, and what am I doing step by step to achieve those goals, right? Um, it's one of those things that you have to be very in the present time, which is one of the ones that we talked about today, right? Which is number 8 today, right? Be present, live in your power, live in the moment, know where you are, each moment of the day. And when you're able to do that, then you're able to make better decisions, right? Because you're here, you're not back there, right? Your head isn't somewhere else, right? But if you write everything down, then you can at least have your attention on these things that you have to get down step by step, one by one. You start breaking these down and reverse engineering your goals and the things that you want to achieve. And now you're here. Then from here, you go out here and you do the work. Then you come back. You're like, okay, I'm here, I'm in present, I'm reading, and going back and go out and do the work. It's a very, very powerful and very simple tool to do, to write things down. As a matter of fact, I'm in the middle of writing down something that I was supposed to do this weekend. Very important thing, and I'm gonna do it this morning. As soon as I'm done with this show, I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna write something that I really am passionate about, that I've been meaning to write, and the instructions to do it are in here, but I haven't actually done it yet. So I'm in the middle of doing it. I do it constantly. I'm writing things down because I want to be able to live my best life. And in order to do that, the 12 steps that I've gone over, six yesterday, six more today, will get you closer to that. Now, of course, these are not commandments, right? These are not the 10 commandments. These vary in different, you can actually adjust these to your own liking, right? They're not set in stone. These are just suggestions, right? I do have something that I wrote in 2013 where it's called My Successful Actions, things that I've done in the past that I've known have worked for me, right? And I wrote them down. There was 10 of them. I know it's a cliche that there were 10. I don't know why there were 10, but it came up to 10, even though I tried to kind of work them out. Some of them I kind of put together because they were similar. So I didn't want to have like 15 or 20 of these. I wanted to have, so I did combine some of them. But these are my successful actions for my actions for success. And and I have them all here. And the first one right here: if you're unhappy with your current situation, change it. Something can be done about it, right? So, and I have them all the way up to 10. Maybe I'll do another show. I did one show on this before. I think it's time for to review these again, and I might do that actually this week sometime. But yeah, that's part of why I wrote that down, because I wanted to write down what was it that I did that worked in the past. What did I do that actually worked, and what did I do that didn't work? See, so I can actually make sure I pull those things out and I just keep and focus on the possibilities, on the things that actually work, and put more possibilities and opportunities to make those even more powerful, right? And that's been my case, my situation, based on writing things down and focusing on those, right? All right. Whew. Okay. Well, want to thank you all for listening to me today. I appreciate you very much. Boy, I'm having trouble talking today, right? Um, it's been one of those evenings, um, working on a lot of things with my wife, a lot of big plans that we have. And whenever you're planning something big, you're gonna expect to have bumps in the road. If you don't have bumps in the road, you have a very boring life. Things got to get a little challenging, a little, and just to kind of make things of a game, right? And you just got to keep playing the game. And you're not going to win every game, but you're going to attempt, you're going to be a better person, even on the ones you've lost, if you just keep that attitude, right? And just keep playing and keep learning and keep educating yourself. So that's one of the reasons why I'm a little bit drained today, was just on a lot of attention on certain things that we're working on, a lot of plans and stuff. So, and we will discuss all those in the near future as well. I want to thank you all again for tuning in. Make today great. Do the things that you love. Take care of yourselves. And as always, peace.